Hi there to this very unusual kind of setup thingy that I've just decided to do last week or something. So, welcome to the very, very, very first installment of OctoPrint After Hours. I'm your host, Gina Heuske. Yo, there is no B in there. And something is talking because apparently I left the tab open somewhere. Okay, now it's gone. Um, no, it's not gone yet. It's still talking somewhere. Give me a second. There we have it. Okay, so. Um, Yeah. So the idea of this thing here, contrary to what I usually do every month or so for my patrons, where they hand in Q&A questions and all that, is I'm just going to be here. I'm going to work on something, which I'm going to explain in a second. What I'm going to work on. I'm also going to share my screen so you can see what I'm working on. And in the meantime, I'm just going to keep an eye on the live chat, which for me will be up there. So when you see me looking in that direction, that is because I'm trying to keep up with whatever you all are typing out. Also, you might notice that I'm not really looking at the camera because the camera is currently located between my two screens. And something here is still talking. I still have a tab somewhere. Damn. Okay, give me a second because this is very, very, very much annoying. I'm just going to mute this. Dum 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 dum. This is probably the best idea. So where was I? Right. So usually the camera is right in front of me, and I'm trying to look at it. Today, this will not be the case because I'll be mostly looking over the second screen, which I'm also going to share with you all, and occasionally also at the first screen, which is over there, and maybe also at the third screen, which is up on top there. So yeah, I'm not trying to avoid eye contact. It's simply that it's a bit tricky for me to do with the setup we're going to do today. Um, all right. So, what am I going to show you today, or rather, what will I be working on while I'm trying to keep an eye on the live chat? Last week on Friday we had the last OctoPrint on Air, the official one, which was also public for all, and Jim Neal asked if it would be possible to add a restore function to the first run wizard so that if you set up a new Octoprint instance from a backup, you don't have to first run through the whole first run wizard, and then play in the restore or restore the backup that you have persisted somewhere. And instead of that, it would be nice to just have, as part of the first run wizard, ideally is the first step actually, the option to restore whatever you have persisted and then go from there. And Can't Live Long, aka Sean Bruce, actually posted a proof of concept for that about 2 days ago or so. And today I finally got around to actually taking a look at it. And this is what I'm still going to do. So I'm currently looking into turning that POC, that POC, into an actual feature addition. Um, and so this is what we're going to do. Word of warning. Since I'll have to mess around with the wizards, there will be cases or situations where I'm very, very much at a loss at my own code because I implemented the wizard functionality, especially the first run wizard, which is a bit of a special case because you do not yet have user permission stuff set up at that specific step where we will have to hook in. So it's been years, or at least a long while since I last touched that, and so I now have to figure out how all this works again. And this is probably going to be very much fun to look at for all of you, and very embarrassing for me. So please don't hold it against me. Also, you might be hearing the printer noises in the background. That's me testing out a new, or not a new, but a face shield headband design thingy that was shared on my local hub for this kind of stuff. And I'm giving it a first test print, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to go with that design or rather look into maybe a different one that is also being discussed. So yeah, that is what you're hearing, but that should hopefully be over soon. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to switch you all over to the screen, but with me, I wanted that one, right? Yeah. So you should hopefully still be able to see me, but also be able to see my IDE. Just when I was talking about it, the print actually finished. That's funny. Okay. Right. So the things that I did already is that the version of Bruce that he shared, of Sean, sorry, the version of Sean that he shared had the backup restore thingy as part of the core wizard plugin of the bundled one. And I'm going to try to rework that to be part of the actual backup plugin. But move it in front of the core wizard plugin. And what you will see is that we will repeatedly restart the server during that. And I also have a special profile here, a special run configuration that is called fresh config, because in order to run the first run setup wizard, it needs to be a first run. And instead of constantly having to edit the configuration file and all that, I'm simply going to Brian asks if I can increase the font size. Of course, I'll immediately get to that. So instead of I'm going to just nuke this fresh config folder all the damn time. So yeah. Okay, let me quickly check font size settings. Editor, I think it was here. Yeah, we can try maybe, I don't know, 15, 14, 15. Can I get a vote in the chat, please, whether I should go for 14 or 15? I'm just going to go for 15, and if it becomes too unusable, we'll go with that. Okay, so, oh yeah, that's going to be fun to work with. Unusual. Usually I really use a really, really tiny font. Yeah. Okay, so what I did here is I just told the bit that renders the web page and that also decides on the order of things and how to display them, that the plugin backup, so any wizards, or rather the one wizard from the backup plugin should go before the one from the core wizard. The ACL module from the core wizard. Sorry, I'm still looking at the live chat. So if I occasionally lose my train of thoughts, that's the reason. I'm really not used to that. I'm also used to running music, but I tried it earlier and it sounded very weird on the mic. And even though I found some really nice royalty-free drum and bass, which I'm going to explore later. So yeah, things are a bit different today. Okay. And John recommends that I need a vertical monitor. No, I do not need a vertical monitor. Usually I really like my landscape setup, but right now with this huge font size, but we'll manage. Okay. So what we have here is the base. I'm going to just close some stuff that we are currently not looking at, because otherwise you'll get as confused as I usually get. And then, you know what? We'll simply do that. This is a lot of stuff, right? And source, OctoPrint, plugins. Okay, so we are working on the backup plugin, and we're also going to take the occasional look at the core wizard plugin. So what I did is I created a new, or rather I copied the one from Sean, a new template here, restore from backup, and also added that to the template configs up here so that the thing knows about that. The thing is that I also will have to implement the wizard plugin mix in here. Okay. Now we need to implement a couple of methods, but they are already implemented in the sub-wizard that Sean created, and we just have to rename them a bit. So we're just going to take them and move them over here. And in order so that I do not completely get lost in my own code, I'm going to add this all in the new section. and tell myself that this is part of the wizard plugin mix-in. Okay, now we will not need that, and we also will not need that, and we won't need that, and neither will we need that. Okay. And we need to change this slightly, like that. Okay. And Brian suggests I should put more semicolons in the code like he does when he's writing Python. It might happen that you actually see that happening if I have to switch over into writing JavaScript and then have to switch back to Python. I also occasionally try to write Python in JavaScript, and that usually ends in tears. So yeah, this is, if you constantly have to switch between languages, this is really bad. And I guess for you, Brian, it's probably C and not this abomination that is called JavaScript, but yeah, still. Okay. I also remember that there's some way to mark wizard steps as mandatory, and I'm wondering if I should make that a mandatory step. Like, not that it's mandatory that you add a backup, restore from a backup, but rather that, yeah, basically that's a cosmetic issue, because so this is what it currently looks like in the POC with a slight modification. And the thing is, if I now continue, you see this is, so this isn't bold, this isn't bold, 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 not bold, and that looks a bit weird, and I'm not yet sure if I want to, yeah. The problem is that you cannot leave that unless you do something and mark it as completed. So I'm probably, for now, I'm not going to make it mandatory, or rather not try to work around that. So we'll just leave it there. Maybe I'm actually thinking maybe it might make sense to try to, I'm going to reload that maybe to get the screen back. Yep. Maybe it might make sense to somehow incorporate that into there, but I guess we first go with the basics, and then we can see if we can't move that in here somehow, the functionality. The problem is that this part here is part of core OctoPrint, and this is part of the bundle plugin. Oops. And I usually, oh, look at that. It's currently not working because I changed things in the back end and it didn't like that. That's my mistake though. Yeah. Oh, interesting. I'll have to look into that. So we're going to see what happens if I simply restart the thing now. But first I need to make sure that the core wizard is no longer trying to include things that are no longer there. But that should hopefully already do it. I removed it here, and yeah, that one still has a reference to it. But we're simply going to comment that out for now, I think, because that's probably the easiest way to quickly get rid of things. Yay. So that still looks valid, I think. And in the chat, currently worlds are connecting, and that is absolutely hilarious because Heater Meter Brian just got recognized by people. I love that. I always love it when people that I know and other people that I know suddenly realize they know each other as well, and we just have this here. So that's kind of fun. Oh, and that's actually a very good idea. Can't Live Long just said that we could turn the backup thing to just, yeah, phrase it as a question basically. So like that, and also rename it, I think I was here, something like this. Wizard first run only, wizard required, details, name. Yeah. Okay, let's just try and see what happens if I restart now. Also, you see that runs in dev 3, so I'm currently running this in Python 3, actually. Okay. What was it again about not touching your face? I'm really failing at that, but then again, I haven't left my house since this morning, and after that, I really washed my hands thoroughly. Okay. So what happens now? Yeah. What happens now is that it no longer finds the thing. That's fun. Yeah, because as you see, so that what is now missing, and now I have to figure out why. Backup underscore wizard actually sounds correct based on the. Let us check the docs. Diddle-diddle-dum. And this is the template plugin actually that we're looking at, and wizard must be called plugin identifier underscore wizard ginger 2. Yep, we did that. It's called backup wizard unless overridden, which we did not do. The template will be already wrapped into the necessary structure. Note about mandatory wizard steps in the current remark, and wizard steps will only make it styled accordingly. It is a task of the view model to actually prevent. Oh, that's interesting. And yeah, what options do we have here? Sidebar, wizard. Ah, I see. Look, it's actually a template config option, but still, right now, things aren't properly being detected, and we first have to figure out why that is the case. Dum-dum-dum. Right. Name wizard. Name type wizard. I mean, does it even need that? That's the question, of course. So if you always thought I'm just sitting here and immediately know how everything fits together and works together, you were mistaken, because that is really not the case, as you can see. I usually have to think a bit about stuff and try to wrap my hand about things again from past times when I implemented things. And I still have a bit of an issue with my shoulder, but it's way better than yesterday. Okay. So it started back up again. So, but it's still not working. Okay, why not? What is happening here? Why isn't it seeing it? It is called backup, right? It is called backup. It's called backup underscore wizard. That's correct. I guess it's time for some breakpoints and try to figure out where I'm going wrong here. So for some reason, it's not detecting the template. And what we're going to do is we're going to set a breakpoint here and make it a conditional one, because we want to only break when the identifier of the plugin we are currently looking at is backup. And then we're going to restart the thing. And this is our breakpoint. And it has the implementation. And then, so how did this work again? The process template configs. I actually want to go there. Bam. And then I want to step in there. Name, implementation, configs. It's empty apart from the settings. That's correct so far, right? Name is backup, implementation, we have the implementation as well. Config is not type, blah. Template type, config, blub, blub, blub. For template type in rules. What are the rules again? That are the rules. How did we get the rules? The rules are injected. Okay, so actually I want to run here. Okay. And we want to look at the template type called wizard. Oh, come on. It's faster to just type it sometimes, really. Wizard. Okay, go. Now we have the wizard template. And what we're going to do is flen includes. What is includes again? No template of the type was added. We'll try to use the default template name. So far, so good. Rule is rules of template type. Template. Data is processed. Oh, okay, we have to dig deeper. Mandatory rule, no. Config is none. If not suffix in data, we don't have a suffix in data. What is data? Then data is empty. We already established that, Gina. Diff is also not, diff is a rule. Oh, diff is a rule, right. If not a template in data. Rule, template, name. Bam. So data, template, backup underscore wizard ginger 2. So far, so good. Data name is, yeah, just backup and restore. Okay, we'll have to rename that, but apart from that, that's fine. So far, it's looking like it's actually detecting things. Step into no. Data bind. We can ignore that. The key is hopefully the right one. Plugin underscore backup. That's correct. And finally, the plugin is backup. That actually looks good. Data is not none, so it should work in there. And then it's trying to fetch the template. And my guess is it's running into... No, it's not even running into an issue there. And now I'm wondering if I'm simply having a stupid caching issue, which would not be the first time, to be honest. Rule to entry data. Yeah, then we run here. So includes should now contain our wizard's backup and restore. That's correct. So it finds it here. And it also can resolve the template. That's also a good point. We're just going to... Okay. So, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to reload. Right away. Oh, I still have a breakpoint sitting there. So the suggestion is that maybe it's just missing here on the side, but no, that's not the case, see? Otherwise it would have shown up there. And now we're going to do a shift reload just to rule out browser cache issues. Peculiar. Okay, time to dig deeper. So what I just did is I opened up the browser debugger thingy, because what I'm now going to do is I'm moving that over to the other screen quickly because it's not that interesting to look at right now, because first I just need a network trace. Because what is actually happening when a wizard initializes is it's asking the backend, hey, do I need stuff from you? And maybe that is the reason things are not being displayed. And this is what I'm now going to check. And just to reassure the live chat, no, usually I'm not talking to myself when I'm alone coding. So this is a bit of a weird situation for me right now. So when I do something really stupid, then yes, then I'm talking to... the problem is that the backup wizard is actually being... So I'm going to show you this. So this is something that I have to take another look at some other time, but this is the request where it's asking, hey, I'm about to show a wizard, and what stuff do I even need here? And then it gets this JSON response back, which basically contains information about all the wizards that are currently registered in the system. And So we see here backup doesn't have any details, is not ignored, which is good, but it is also not required, which is bad, because in order to display that thing, we need it to be required. As you can see, everything that is being displayed has required set to true. Software update is not required right now. Tracking, however, is. So let me quickly show you that. So what you also can see is that a lot of this stuff is actually part of the core wizard. So ACL is the access control. Online check is that thing. Plugin list is that one. Printer profile is that one. Server commands is that one. Webcam is that one. And that also only leaves us anonymous usage tracking, which is this one. And finish and start are injected by the core system. Tracking. Software update, which we just saw is not required, is only required if stuff needs to be configured, which by default no longer is necessary in OctoPrint. So if, for example, back in the day when OctoPrint still tried to update itself through Git, it needed a Git checkout folder to be configured. On Octopi, that already shipped pre-configured. But if you installed it from source, then that was not configured yet, and then you needed to configure that. And that was when this pane was still being used, pane with P-A-N-E, not P-A-I-N. Yeah, but so the problem is that the backup plugin is not being registered as required. So we're now going to take a look at this thingy here, and I'm going to try to figure out why it is not required. And I'll have to scroll down really fast. Oh, right, and the problem is probably because that should not be underscore methods. Oops. Actually, let us check in the documentation. In the wizard plugin docs. So we need, is wizard required? Get wizard details, get wizard version, is wizard ignored, is wizard required, and on wizard finish. And we do have what? Oh dear. It's been a long while since I last had to implement a wizard. So get wizard details looks correct. Check. That also gets found in the class upstairs, so to speak. Wizard version, we don't know. No, don't need that. Is wizard required? Is it true? Yeah. But only on first run, right? So how do we detect first run? This way. So we are simply going to do the same thing that we did in the core wizard. And we're going to say this is only required if the first run flag is still set to true. So that is now taken care of. That should be this. Then this is also happy. We no longer need this one. And this one is also not really used here. So next step, we are going to restart again. Yeah, this facial expression is also something that I usually have a lot on display during coding and during development. And things are currently falling off my chair. I have a wardrobe malfunction here. Simply going to drop that on the floor, because thanks to the Roomba, I actually can do that. Okay. So, ouch. Where were we? Refresh. And bam, there it is. Nice. But we do not want to, I have to click next. We don't want to have it called backup and restore, but instead we want to have it be named differently. And for that we need a template config. Template config, there it is. So we're going to use that after all. We're going to say, hey, for the wizard, we're going to need this text, which is restore backup. Or actually, in the spirit of the uppercase, lowercase use here, which is completely over the place again. I guess I need to adjust that while I'm at it. Kentleflong asks, what was it? I missed it. So the problem was that I simply copied the stuff from your POC, which was still underscore is blah 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 required, and that was wrong because it should for the actual top level wizard plugin it should be is wizard required without the underscore at the start. That was the special thing that we used in core wizard. Yeah, John, you summed it up nicely. Basically, I because I had the underscores in the front, it did not find the correct methods for the wizard plugin, and that was the problem. Okay, where was I right? Great. We renamed it, so let's check if the rename works fine. And oh no, before I do that, I'm actually going to adjust the plugin blacklist also. Yeah, going to make this an uppercase B. And we are going to also adjust the online connectivity check. Just because we can, and to have this all look a bit more uniform. John asks if this wizard plugin thingy is called an interface in Python because he comes from the Java world. So I also come from the Java world, as some of you might know. The thing is that my Java days have been over for the past 6 years now, so I'm not entirely sure at all how the concept was called in Java, but I think it was more like abstract classes that we have here, though they are not necessarily abstract. So in Python, you can do the stuff that's called mix-ins. So in I don't know if it is still the case in Java these days, but back then when I was still active in that language, you could not subclass from multiple classes. You could only subclass from one class, but multiple interfaces. And interfaces could have fields defined. They could have method fingerprints, or how do you say that again? Fingerprint? No, there's a different word that I can't remember right now. Stubs. I don't know. So you could define how a method would look like that something would have to implement in order to correctly implement the interface, but you could not provide default implementations. But in Python, you have a bit more flexibility. So you can just say that a class you have inherits from 2, 3, 4, 70, 100 other classes. And Python will do its best to mix and match methods from all of them. And I honestly have no idea how exactly that works, but at least in the minor versions that I have so far used, it works great. So all these different things like template plugin, wizard plugin, asset plugin, settings plugin, and all that, they are all they are all what I call what is called mix-ins from how they are being used, and this is also why the section in the docs say mix-ins. And in theory you can write a plugin that implements all of these, and then it has all of these methods. But all of these methods also have default implementations, or at least those where it makes sense. But I think right now I can't, from the top of my head, I can't think of a mix-in method that does not have an implementation and would throw an error. I think most of them just would not do anything unless you implemented that. Right, so we restarted that, didn't we? That looks good. 1732. Okay. So that should hopefully be, if it's not renamed now, that's because I didn't restart after all, because I got distracted. But yeah, restore back up, and this is now all uppercase. This is now all this. It looks way more nice. Restore from a backup. If you would like to from a backup, now is the time. Yeah, and we're probably going to make this mandatory and turn it into something like this. So you would have like do not continue, but for now we are leaving it at at this. And the next challenge is actually going to be how to upload a file without access control having been configured yet. And this is the part where I have no idea anymore how this works, so I have to dig into the code now a bit. Especially on how I utilize, how I did first run access restrictions. And we are actually going to take a look at I forgot plugin blacklist, I'm being told by Lenny. I did? No, it's uppercase now. Am I missing something here? Okay. Lenny just said my bad, never mind. Okay, so I did not miss anything here. So, right, we are currently in a completely fresh OctoPrint instance that has never run through this setup wizard before. Even though we keep reloading it, we never finalized it. And so currently, when we call our passive login function, we get back that we are not an external client and that we are a guest. Okay. So we qualify as a guest right now. So how does the access control actually, so we have this here. Okay, I see. So it gets around the access control check for applying the new ACL setting, which is its custom endpoint here, by that's simply not being protected on a decorator level. So sorry, maybe I should first explain what a decorator is. So you see these add thingies here, right? In Java they were called differently. I forgot how, actually. This would be for John. But yeah, here, so decorators are basically function wrappers. So this means that there's a method called, or a function called OctoPrint plugin blueprint plugin route, or route. I have no idea how to pronounce this right now. That will always be called when this one is called. So if there's some kind of code that calls ACL Wizard API, then first this, or rather the result of this function call, because this is actually a function call, so this is the function, and these are the parameters to the function call. And this is expected to also return a function, and that, on the other hand, will get that one as parameter. So maybe if we just Python 101 here. If we just jump into that, so this is a custom decorator defined on the Blueprint plugin. And also, we just got told in the chat that for Java it's annotations, isn't it? Thank you, annotations. It's been a while. So this is the Blueprint plugin class definition, and in here we have a static method called route, whatever, with a rule and a bunch of options. And that thing defines in itself another function that does a bunch of stuff that we're not going to go into right now, but that decorator is being returned. And it does define this stuff based on the rule and the options, which are used in here. So you can basically, what you're basically seeing here is a method, or no, a function being tailor-made with some parameters, and then being wrapped around, where was I looking at just now? I think here. And then being, no, not there. Then there. No. Where was I? Oh no, there I was. Okay. And then being wrapped around this thing. This other method. Yeah. Okay, so and this one just tells OctoPrint, hey, by the way, this plugin here has an endpoint /ACL to which you can post, but there are no further restrictions in this thing. which I think was defined here somewhere. Get as a wizard required, blah, blah, blah. Somewhere here there was also, I think, a blueprint plugin. No, it wasn't. Somewhere it's not being used. Was it here? Nah. Ah, well, we're just going to ignore that right now. But in any case, this blueprint plugin is not protected by the system, and instead we have to do our own protection, and we're doing this here. We could be doing it by the way, like in a way like it is being done here on the upload. Where is my upload endpoint? No, 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 no. Body size hook. That's looking sounding promising. Blueprint protect. Yeah. There we go. Perform restore. So here we have this limitation that unless you have the plugin backup access permission, then you get an HTTP 403, which is was it unauthorized or forbidden? I think forbidden. I always confuse these two. And again, you have this blueprint plugin route thing, which tells OctoPrint, hey, by the way, this plugin has an endpoint called /restore to which you can post. And then we say, and also, by the way, it needs this permission here. Require is another decorator that is here parameterized with 403, which is the error code that is to be returned if this permission is not there. And only if that passes, we will actually call this thing, and then it will also check stuff. Like, for example, the restore cannot work on Windows systems because Windows always locks the files so that I cannot overwrite files that are currently being used. For example, the log file, which is in the config file, config directory and stuff. Yeah. And then it goes into the actual, into the further restore routine. So what we are now going to do here instead is we move this annotation, remove it here, annotate. Now I'm even saying annotation, sorry. We move this decorator, and we're going to use that directly instead. Or rather, we are going to use the permission instead directly, and we'll also check if we are still in first run setup mode, and if we are in first run setup mode, or if we have this backup access permission, then we'll continue, and otherwise we return a 403. So that is the current idea. Also, hello and good afternoon or evening or morning or whatever it is on your side of the globe, whoever joined ever since I started. Okay, so I might actually have to sneak a peek at some other code on how I think they have a can method. So let me just try this. So if permissions plugin backup access can. No, if not, actually. So if we, for some reason, my keyboard is slightly moved. Okay, if not, permissions. So if we don't have that, and we are also not in first run mode, for which I'm just simply going to steal this line again. So, and not, then return flask abort 403. And then we no longer need that. And I think this is correct, but just in case, I think I'm also using this in, I think in the plugin manager. Oh, of course, I'm not using that in the plugin manager, so maybe it was in the announcements. I know I'm using this somewhere, this can thing. Nope. 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 Okay. We are trying something different. Where is the server API users? Oh, right, it moved into access. Because we have a method here somewhere where we allow to edit a user that is inexistent, and I think we have it limited so that we can only edit it has permission, and that's not helping. I mean, of course, we can also do it that way, but then we need to work on the user object, and I'd rather not do that. We're simply going to check if this works or not. I think it should be that. That sounds okay. I'm not wrong. Nope. I'm not going to do nope jokes, Chris. I'm not going to do nope jokes. Chris and me went to the Chaos Communication Camp together and played a lot of Exploding Kittens there. And since then, nope has become kind of the in-joke. Also, when standing in front of boulder walls and looking up and going, nope, 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 nope. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this. And what I'm going to do now, since I do not now actually want to restore a backup, I'm going to simply set a breakpoint here and check if I, when I try to upload something, I'm actually going to go through this here. The question, of course, now is if I'm only limiting things to that should be here, I guess. Oh, right. I guess we need restore from backup. I guess we need to still port some code from the POC, from Can't Live Long's POC, because this restore from backup, show restore from backup thing is not something we've so far used here. Now, what did you do there? Okay, we're using the closing the wizard view model, hiding the settings dialog menu, and then showing settings plugin backup. Nah. I want to do this differently. Can't Live Long just said that the code might only allow restore during wizard, so we are going to check that. Oh, that was the wrong file. I want to go there. It shouldn't, because so if we do not have the plugin backup access permission, which we should have if we are an admin and the thing has already run through first run, so this would fail. And Can't Live Long just said, I told you it was a hack job about the POC. No worries. But that's the word you use, not the word that I use. So we are checking if the plugin backup access permission is held by the user, and only if not. We are further checking if first run is currently active, and only if that isn't the case either, we are going to forbid. So if either the user has this permission, or we have the first run set, this is not going to trigger, which we can actually check by doing this Boolean algebra thing. So if we invert this whole thing, if we put a not in front and then put all of that in parentheses, this not would vanish, and this and would become an or. So this inverted is if we either have the plugin backup access permission or first run is active. So that should actually be fine, I think, at least. Then again, It's 17:50 and I'm kind of tired, so who knows. Yeah. Let me quickly just do something. Okay. So that should be fine. And we have our breakpoint here. And now we need to actually call this thing. So for now, I'm simply going to copy this function. But we're going to change that down the road. But for now, I'm going to take that. And we'll move that, or rather copy that, into the permission. Quatsch. I'm talking German again. I'm going to move that into the view model of the backup view thingy. Why is there a $sign in front? Okay, we're just going to leave it for now. And then, okay. So we don't need to do this. I see. I see. Yeah, we need a custom dialog for that. So instead of doing this that way, we're going to go all in directly instead. There are weird noises coming from the printer. I think the print is detaching itself from the bed. But it's okay because the print finished. Sorry, I'm just trying to get back into that code. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look here. Existing backups. I don't have an delete selected, clear selected. Okay, actions. Restore in progress, blah, blah, blah. href URL. Restore. Function. Restore backup, data name. Ugh. Don't I have an upload mechanism there? Give me a sec. Quickly have to check another printer, another instance, because I'm really, really confused right now. Oh, right, it was down. Restore from uploaded backup. There we go. Okay, so we need that. And we actually are going to simply... I think we are going to make our life a tad easier here, because funny feature in OctoPrint is actually that all this stuff also supports snippets in order to allow you to reuse things that you need for wizards, for example. So if you take a look at the software update thing, there's the subfolder snippets with, and I simply can use these snippets. Like that, right. So we're going to do the same here because we're going to reuse the upload HTML code and also the bindings and all that. So we don't have to implement this twice. So snippets. Is there some way to do this quickly? No? Okay. Directory. Plugin. Backup. Plop, 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 plop. Backup. Damn. Oh, nice. Okay. And then we'll have a new file called, how do we call it? Backup upload form. Bam. Add to Git. And then we're going to take this from here. And are simply going to paste this here. And then we are going, I don't need that, I don't need that, I need that. And then we're going to include it. What did I call it? Backup underscore upload forum.ginger2. Bam. And that should actually work. And just to make sure that this will actually work and not completely nuke everything there, we're going to quickly stop this thing, switch over to a regular version, which uses my default config, and then restarting the server. No, we are not restarting the server because for some reason it has apparently lost its Python environment. That's bad. It's also really bad timing. That actually looks okay. Project default. Oh, I'm going to use this just as a test. Okay. But why is it looking in this directory? There is no Python exit there. Okay, I did not change anything on this, so I have no idea why it is currently doing this, what it is doing. Especially since we just saw pretty much the same configuration work flawlessly. So this is using the project default, so we're going to use the project default there as well. Crash config serve debug, module name. Just in case it's this problem, which it probably is. And then we're going to debug this issue later. I'm simply going to use this now. No, this was not the problem. Too bad. Okay, does this still work? No, this also doesn't work. This is interesting, considering that I did not change anything. As you saw, because you saw what I was doing all the time. Can someone explain this to me? Because I'm really stumped right now. What does happen if I switch this thing over to Python 2.7? Dum, 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 dum. That should hopefully now have switched to Python 2.7. Yeah, wonderful. So something happened to my subprocess, clean, which I cannot explain. So we're going to take a look at that thing and what its problem is. PyInterpreter directory. Yeah, PyInterpreter, not project file here. So it should actually do that, but for some reason it isn't. John says this is the demo effect. I think it is indeed. So just to make clear, PyInterpreter directory. PyInterpreter directory. This is the correct one. That should work. But for some reason it isn't working. Yeah. Okay. I mean, the easy way, of course, would simply be to remove this for now, to just get stuff working again, which is a bit annoying because then, but still. Apply. Okay. Is it working again? Look at that. It's launching. Okay, so I have no idea what is up with this, but for now I'm simply going to do these clean and install steps, if necessary, manually on the console, because I don't want to bore you to death with trying to figure out why my environment decided to suddenly lose parts of its configuration or something like this. Okay, so, but this was again the fresh config, and I did not actually want to start the fresh config. I simply tried to restart that because it was working. Oh, right, this one still contains the steps. Bam. Okay, apply. Okay, go. Power Weasel suggests I should punish it by choosing a pink theme for the IDE. For the record, I hate pink. The color, not the musician. The musician is actually good. Look, it's starting. Isn't this nice? Also, don't get confused by all these errors here. I had it connected earlier for testing stuff. I think for testing the look and feel of the push yesterday about how to help with your 3D printer against the Corona situation. And for testing that, I had it wired up against my local test block, and that is currently not running, which is why things are complaining. Okay. So the good news is it's still running, and hopefully we also now still have, yeah. So this is now coming from the injected snippet, and look at that. And I stand corrected. Okay, that's interesting. I did not hallucinate that we just had still this upload thing there. No, did I? Because right now I'm seriously doubting my sanity. I did just see that there, right? I'm almost tempted to scroll back in my own recording of this, but I have no idea what would happen if I did this. So, oh, right. I'm running on Windows. Cool. Yeah. So this is going to be fun to implement on Windows right now. So I'm simply going to remove this check temporarily. Please note that blah 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 blah. Right. Look at this. We are simply going to comment this out. Can we do this easily? Restore support. Oh, wait, we're doing this in the here. Okay. We're doing this apparently in the backend. So we are going to quickly comment this one out. Then we of course have to reset the breakpoint, because otherwise it will just try to stop on a comment, which won't work. So breakpoint also will not work, and we don't want that. And I also need... Also, I'm being told by the chat that yes, the option was there, so I did not hallucinate. This is nice to know. I guess it was simply the bindings needing a bit to catch up, and then... Oh no, right, because it's coming from the back end. It first was visible, then the information from the back end, whether that was available or not, came in, and then it vanished again. Note to self, I'm actually noting that down. If I find a pen, there. Backup, restore, hidden by default. So keep backup, restore, hidden by default, because otherwise you will get this pop out effect, which is a bit weird. I'll probably pop in is not. Or I could just say next to no one actually uses Windows apart from me for development. With OctoPrint, that was not a general statement. Yeah. So unknown plugins, get restore is OS compatible, and we're simply going to copy that, comment it out, and turn this into a true, because this makes things way easier now for debugging. Can't live long is wondering what it would take to make backup working on Windows. Yeah, the problem is as I said, so it locks the files that are currently opened by a program to read. And that also includes anything in the .octoprint folder, or rather in that case in app data, roaming, local blah, whatever, which is getting, or which is supposed to be replaced. And if I remember correctly, the problem was that the logs are open for writing, and then it attempts to recreate the backup structure. No, not the backup structure, the config structure, which includes at first an empty log folder. And I think this might be the issue, but it's been a long while. I mean, I wrote this 1.5 years or almost 2 years ago. And this was just an issue that I found. So yeah, it's a general issue also when you try to update OctoPrint on the run while it's running, so by itself under Windows, also not working because you're trying to replace the OctoPrint exe file which is being currently used and hence write protected. So you cannot replace it. So the backup failed. No, not the backup. Oh, too much backup here. So the update fails. And I think the only way around this would be with some kind of bootstrap process, which would either mark things for restore/update, and then shut down the whole process and somehow trigger the bootstrap thingy in order to update things. But so I'm really not sure if it's worth the effort, considering that. Let me quickly check the exact numbers. Oh no, not that quickly apparently. So I think we are looking at maybe less than 1% of OctoPrint instances, so less than 500. I'm not even sure if it's not even less than 100 maybe, and that's really not worth it. And I can just, when I'm developing, I can just quickly change stuff like that and make life easier for me. Yeah. So let us check. So that should hopefully stay there now. Look at that. There are no backups. There are my backups. Restore from, right. Okay, so if I browse there, I only get zip files. Okay. These are not actually wares. This is an album of game musics, game soundtrack covers by Master Boot Record, which is a good artist that you really should check out on Bandcamp. Just as a bit of a plug here. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to just quickly fetch one of these backups here that I created in the past, and something that is not really big. Oh, I'm just going to quickly create one with all the settings. And I'm really hoping it's working now. Okay. That's that one. And we're going to, that was from 24. Okay. We're going to download that. Yeah. Because we're going to use this now for our tests. So we're stopping this again, and we're going to start the fresh config one again. So we should be allowed to upload that file now during the run, during the wizard run. And we should also be able to upload it if we also include this whole form. Going to simply reuse this as well. Oh no, we already have a translation up there. Okay, so we're going to use that. So this should hopefully work. I hope. This should have bindings attached unless I disable it, right? So that I'm wondering if the I'm wondering if the custom bindings, if my view model is actually automatically being bound there. I think so, though. I think the only bit where it's not is for the setting. Or no, even for the settings. Yeah, you have to actively disable it. Okay, never mind. I remember now. So this should work. So we're going to restart that. And now come on. Now it's okay. Now it should be started. I'm going to reload. Okay. That's looking that is not looking promising. That is really not looking promising. Question is, what does happen when I click here? So this is okay. I open that. And then did we set the breakpoint? We did. Good. This is actually going to be interesting in a bit. I hope so, at least. What does happen if I click here? It's reloading the page. That's working great. Okay, something apparently did not work there with regards to binding to this thing. Oh, right. I have to tell the... that was my mistake. Right. So the backup view model has this set of stuff that it knows to bind to, and we actually have to tell it to try to bind to the wizard. And if we do that, then it will hopefully actually look right. And it should also tell me in the console log, if we look here. No. Yeah, we're going to do that. So, because then you can also see what I'm seeing. So now it should actually bind that. And the only did not bind messages are the ones that I'm expecting. And core wizard backup view model bound to wizard plugin backup. All right. So this should now look great. That is actually promising now. We are going to try to restore this, upload and restore. Are things happening? Things are not happening. Why are things not happening? Probably because this has a check. Okay. I quickly have to at least try to stay hydrated. So this is getting initialized. Nope. Perform restore from upload. So why isn't this triggering? So what it should be doing is show a confirmation dialog, ask us if we really want to do this. And if so, if we say yes, we do, run this function, mark us as being restore progress, remove all log lines, push some stuff, show the restore dialog modal, and then submit the data to the server, and at which point I expect our breakpoint to trigger. But for some reason this did not work. And the question, of course, now is why? And self restore from backup, so that should be in here. Is it this one? Upload and restore. Yeah, perform restore from upload. So this should work, but it doesn't. And the question is why? So in order to figure that out, why that is the case, we're simply going to do what we also just did earlier in the back end and create some. Yeah, this is going to be snuggly over here. Power Weasel says this is the old whiskey in a water bottle trick. Fun fact, I do not drink alcohol at all, so I can assure you this definitely is not whiskey, or you would be seeing me like be really with some really fun facial expressions right now, and then I would probably fall from my chair because I also have absolutely no tolerance at all due to that. And after a chunk of whiskey like this, you could probably roll me just into my bed and forget about me for the next 24 hours. Not that I'm speaking from experience, I actually am not. But yeah, so this is a core plugin, so we should look in here. Oh, okay, this is a bit. Let's maybe put it to the bottom because this is really a bit too cramped for me to work with. Well, look how small we can make it. Debugger. Jim says he doesn't drink either. Thank you, because yeah, people always still, even at 37 years of age now, I still get funny looks here and there. What? You do not drink? Why? I don't like the taste. That's really the only reason. I and it's not that I didn't try to like it, because of all the peer pressure situations and all that you find yourself in during growing up. But I simply, I just absolutely hate the taste, and I also can taste it out of pretty much every drink. So even if you give me some really really sweet cocktail with like this tiny amount of vodka or something, yeah, I can throw the whole cocktail away because I cannot drink it. I will taste it and it will just taste plain horrible. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a breakpoint in the okay, in the method that we are calling here, which was perform restore from upload. So I'm going to do this. And then I'm again going to select this thing. It's also interesting that the name isn't showing up here, so maybe this is related, because if I now go there, and my money is on this immediately running into return because backup upload data isn't defined, and look at that, it's undefined. So why is it undefined? Where does it get defined? Self backup upload data starts out as undefined, and when we add something to the backup upload button, right. We now have two items with the same ID because we used the snippet. Hooray! So now there's a problem with the snippet. Yeah, because this button here, this is going to be turned into, no, is it that one? Where's the ID? No, sorry. This file input up here currently has this ID, and because we are using the snippet in two places, we are actually now have two buttons with the same ID, and it attaches only to the first button that we defined, which is in the settings, and not in the wizard one. So I have two options now. I could just get really annoyed at this and try to figure out if I can somehow parameterize the whole inclusion thing. And I know it's possible, but I'm really not sure if it's worth the effort here. So we are rolling back on this whole snippet thing again. So we're going to take this again and put it in there with a bit of an indentation because looks and all this. And then we are going to use the same code here. I'm not entirely happy with this, and I might still further down the road make this here a parameter for the included template or something, but right now it's simply not worth the effort, so I'm going to delete this again, and this as well. Oh, you know what? Maybe this is easier. Okay. Oh dear. I hope you did not hear what I just heard. Because that was my shoulder, and it is not supposed to make noises like that. Must be the age. Right. So I just replaced stuff in the front end, and only in the front end, so a simple reload should suffice without the need to restart the server, so we're going to do that. Why? Oh no, Okay, it was just still defined. Okay. Browse, backup, and it's still not binding properly, I fear. Why isn't it working? Yeah, but it actually... Okay, that's interesting. The selection happened, but further things didn't. Oh, right, because I simply just replaced the... I'm good. Ah, this should be wizard backup upload. Look at that. I'm not proud of myself right now. Browse, backup, and it's still not working. What does happen here? Nothing. Isn't this nice? Why isn't it working? Because obviously... Yeah. Okay, so we are going to... Ugh, that's really not sexy. I hate code duplication. But I fear, at least right now, it's the easiest way to solve this and to just figure out if some other stuff that I'm actually trying to check, because I want my whole goal here right now is to figure out if my backend changes work, and for that I have to fine-tune the front end. No. We are going to leave this like that. That should work. We can also, that can go, and that can go there, that can go there, that can go there. Both of them will modify these two, but this one is the settings one, and the other one is the wizard one. And yeah, I know that this is a duplicated code fragment, PyCharm. I'm not happy about it, okay? Actually, wait. We can do that at least. Oh, wait, it's not... It's this way. Bam. And then we are going to copy that over there. And then we're going to reuse it. Backup, upload, file upload options, and the same here. So this way it isn't that bad with the duplication. Okay. Now the question, of course, is why we even have this as a setting. Self backup upload button. Is this attached here? Nope. Well, then it doesn't have to be named now, does it? Because then we can simply do this. Nah. That was unintentional. We are going to do this, and then we're going to do that. And then we are going to delete the wrong line. Okay. Right. This actually looks quite decent now. No guarantees, of course, that it will do anything what it is supposed to do, but hey, we are trying. So this is going to call... Ouch. This is going to get attached to this thing, or rather uploadified, so to speak, and so is this, but with different instances, and both of them are going to submit the form. Oh dear. How does this continue? Where was the method? The method. There it is. Oh, that looks actually okay then, because we are submitting the backup upload data, which is shared between the two. It's that one. And where does this come from again? Oh, right, when we add a file, yeah. Well, let's give this a try then. Did we change anything in the back end? I think we didn't. I think it was just front-end code again, so we can simply reload, which makes things way faster. Okay. Browse. Hooray! That actually looks good. That also looks good. Proceed. It opened that thing. It went into this. And what happens next? We're fetching all this. Log error, log blum, 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 archive. Then we're starting the backup thread. We're simply going to actually run this. Let's see what happens. This happens. So these are the progress information thingies, and also this happened. So we have another check if this is Windows or not in there. And we also have this special thing in the socket that if the socket has not been authenticated yet, which it can't, because as you know, we just are setting up a new instance and are trying to restore before we have done anything else. We haven't logged in yet. We are a guest user on a completely fresh instance that is considered also fresh in regards to access control. So the only thing we should be able to do right now is either restore from a backup or create or initialize the access control feature. But the socket is currently not initialized, so the push notifications between the backend and the front end, which we need in order to display these progress messages, or also to display this error here that we generated. There were weird noises coming from outside. They aren't making it through because we are blocking them in order to not push possibly sensitive data to clients that are unauthenticated. And so we probably need an exception for these messages in order for this to go through. Okay, Jim asks why you can't restore Windows. As I said, the problem is that Windows always logs files that are currently in use so that you cannot overwrite them, and that also includes some stuff from the backup. So stuff that I would have to restore. I can't remember the full details of what was the issue exactly, but so I can't remember what files it was. I think it had to do something with the logs, but I'm not entirely sure. So restore just fails, and it would be a nightmare to get it to work. And so just denying it under Windows was way easier, especially considering the amount of people who actually do use it under Windows, who are not me. Where do we check this Windows thing? Yep, there it is. So this one also has to get ignored for now if we want to step through this, but actually we first have to oh, you know what, this makes it easier. For now we leave it in, because this thing failing is actually nice, because then we don't have to constantly do the fresh config stuff, nuking, and we'd rather have to take a look at this socket message held back thing. And now how best to do that? If I remember correctly, I implemented a hook for this kind of stuff. Server sock.js emit. Yeah, the problem is that this emit handler does the opposite. We do not want to prevent messages to go through. We actually want them to go through. It might also be an option to just give it an exception in there. So where was it again? Let me check that. Jesus. I'm already doing this for 1.5 hours. I hope it's interesting, honestly. I've never done this kind of stuff before. I just figured it might be a good format for this. Also, in case you want to talk about anything or have questions or such, I can also, I'm keeping an eye on the live chat all the time. So if you want to ask something or I don't know, I can also try to answer that while I'm digging through code here. Okay. I wanted to look at the server API. No, util, yes. At the socket. So the logging stuff is done down here somewhere, I think. On do emit, emit. Yeah, and I think we might be able to actually. Oof. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So this says that connected and reauth required don't need permissions, but the problem is that we are only seeing the. So anything sent by a plugin will have plugin as message identifier, and we don't want to allow every single plugin message that might be triggered there. We only want to. Oh wait. Well, we could do it as a payload processor in this case, maybe. So I have this mechanism in here that in case you are you get a client opened event. Oh, that's not an event though, right? It's a message. Oof. Right. Okay. So new mechanism. Emit processor. So plugin is getting a new processor, and we're going to have a user and a payload, I think, right? And we're going to. The question is, what do we do here? Oh, wait, we're doing this differently, I think. We are going to do this, that we also allow functions in here. The user payload, and we return. No, we don't return as a lambda function. So. And we're going to return true if payload.get, I have to look up what exactly it's called, is backup, and we are in first run. Do we have an access to the settings here right already? Please tell me yes. We do. Okay. So we're going to fetch settings get boolean server first run. And Can't Live Long asks if it is worth giving plugins that type of control to modify this stuff rather than just running with a high privilege level on setup wizard. I think no, and this is why we are going to do it that way for now, at least. That I'm simply going to say, okay, the wizard plugin messages are allowed to go through if the first run is still active, so that we can get restore updates during that. Oh, right, I should return an else. That makes you know what? This is actually a bit stupid. We are going to simply return the result of this. No, we are not. Oh, we need to return permissions here. How do we do that? We do it that way. So this is a lambda function that will return an empty permission list if this is the case, and otherwise it will return the regular status permission requirement of everything else. Okay, now I have to look how I actually do send a plugin message. So plugin, it's simply plugin. Okay, so payload get plugin equals backup. So that should, I think that should work as soon as we make this function usable. Emit permissions, down. Emit permissions. So we are, oh, look at that! I actually prepared it already to support callables or functions to be called there instead of you know, sometimes I surprise myself. So it fetches this, and then we'll probably have to change the signature though. And then it calls it if it's a callable, and in other cases, and but we actually need to. We at least need the payload. We don't necessarily need the user. No, right? We don't need the user, but we do need the payload. So we'll have to change the signature slightly down here, wherever down here was. On plugin, no. Emit. Do emit. Right, and we are calling this with the payload. Yeah, like that. And now we're going to try this again, but this time we have to restart the server. And I'm quickly going to check if there was anything in the chat, but it looks quite calm, actually. And the server is started, and now we can try this again after a reload. Bam. Next, browse. There it is. We select that, we upload it. Yes, please. We run into a breakpoint, we trigger things. Oh, yeah, look at that. That did not work. Oh, sorry. I just bumped the mic. Apologies for any kind of blown eardrums. Callable x else x for x. Right, we are trying to iterate over a function here. This is not going to work. Do we really want to do it that way? Actually, we want to do it this way. That looks correct. I have no idea what is happening down there, but it's worrying. Oh dear, okay. Yeah, this is not working. It obviously is not working. Because this needs to be permissions. And this needs to be permissions. And now, let's try again. That looks better, doesn't it? So at least nothing has exploded so far. Select, bam, upload and restore. Yes, we want to proceed. It's still not working. Function object has no attribute get boolean. Right, because I forgot some parentheses there. And if you're wondering if this is normal, yes, it is. I usually forget tiny little things and then have to restart the whole server due to that again. And it's highly annoying, but yeah. The proudest moments are actually when I write down a long piece of code and start it and it works first try. That's usually when I do a little happy dance here in the office. I'm not going to show you that. Next, browse. Pop. That's good. Messages are now making it through. So that is a really good news. Next step is we're going to actually try to make it through a backup, through a restore, and then we'll have to reload the whole page at the end. But we'll worry about that when it's time for this. I think though we should be able to hook into, or is it actually doing that already, or is it even restarting the server? I forgot. What does it actually do after restore? Installing plugins, sending blah 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 blah. Restore started, restore done. Nice. And then what does happen at the end? Restore backup. Unpacks a lot of stuff, and then moving, error, writing, could not, removing, error while restoring, removing temporary restart. Perfect. Okay, so it's restarting anyhow, so it should it? I think it should reload, yeah. This is going to be fun to test. Okay. We need to remove the OS check quickly here from this. Come to think of it. Oh no, we cannot. Okay. So we're quickly going to do this. And then we're going to do that again. And then let's see where that leads us. Sean asks, Can't Live Long asks, can the restore even restart OctoPrint if the command isn't defined? No, it can't, but on OctoPy the command is defined by default because it gets shipped that way. So at least for the most common case that will work. And if the restart command is not defined, for example, we could just either prompt the user to restart it themselves, but how? Crap. Yeah, we'll figure that out at a later point. For now, we'll just go with this. I think I'm actually going to say we'll so the goal of this, and also the point where I consider this done for the evening, because frankly we're already close to 7 p.m. But at least by 8, I think I want to call it quits here, because then I'll have already worked for 10 hours or so. 12 actually. I started at 8 this morning because I had an early doctor's appointment, nothing serious, everything all right. And yeah, so the goal for today here with this thing is I'm going to, oh, that's a good idea, Sean. Sorry, I'm just quickly finishing my thought, and then I'm going to go over this idea of him. So the goal is going to be that we get something like the most common workflow implemented. So octopi command configured already. We start this, and then we can actually, it will actually restart the server, though we cannot test this on Windows. I'll have to do that manually. And then it will come back up and stuff will be restored. So this is the idea. So this is what I hopefully will be able to achieve within the next hour. And the tricky bits will then be to do what if the server restart command is not defined already, and Sean just can't live on. I'm not sure how am I supposed to call you on the chat. Sean can't, whatever, can't. That our restored backup contains a configured restart command, or at least the chances are very high that it does, and we could just read that and use that. So as we see here, the restart command is actually currently being read right at the very beginning. So before we did restore, we could read it down here before we use it. I'm going to do Sean. Okay, Sean. Restart command is being used at the very, very, very end, I think. Right. Oh, wait, look at that. We even have I even covered the case where the restart command is not defined. Look at that. I have no idea what happens then, but wait, it does run just on restore done if it is set, and that's all. So okay. Carl asks if I cannot just ask Windows users to restart manually. Yeah, of course. On Windows, this is not a problem. The thing is, if I tell people to restart manually on a Pi, where they restore the backup without a configured server restart command, then they will probably just shut down the Pi, as in they will pull the power. And that has very, very high likelihood of breaking the file system, especially if stuff is still being spooled to disk. And yeah, that is a bad idea. So I need a way to allow users to restart that thing there in a safe manner. And just using the restart command from the recovered config sounds actually like a really good idea. Or rather, we will do something like if we currently have one, we will use that. And if we don't have one, then we use oh, that's nice. Actually, we're going to do that. So if the restart command is still none down here, oh wait, we're copying this. Ban. So if not restart command, so if it's not set, then we are going to reread it again. And then we are doing things. So because at this point the settings should already have been overwritten and readable. I'm fairly sure at least that should be the case. Where did it happen here? Config, data. Oh wait, we can actually we can actually access that. Yeah, so we're going to do that. So if then we're going to get config data, get server, get commands, get server restart command. And this should do it. Right. Okay, so I temporarily remove this here, and we will now check what actually does happen when I apply the plugin, the backup. Whew. Carl asked if we cannot identify the OS and then manually restart, and then the manual restart message is only displayed to them. Yeah, we could. But again, the problem is that it's a very specific one. I'm not entirely sure if it is worth trying to build some. I mean, we actually just need, if the restart command is not defined, then we need to display a restart message. And that's all, really. So we are going to do that here. So. Okay, we restarted. And we're going to run through this. And at some point, the Windows calculator might open up. That's because not under the, right. Yeah, we can still check if it actually works. Okay, browse, zoom, update. So, see, and this is what I mean. It cannot do that because of the stupid log files. I really do not want to fire up a Pi now or a Linux VM just to test this. This is so annoying. Question, of course, is why it is even trying to overwrite that, to be honest. Because, oh, right, because it unpacks the configuration folder, the old one, and then tries to remove the existing one and overwrite it with the old one. And this contains the currently open log, and this doesn't work. And so, yeah, this is the problem. This is so annoying. I'm trying to think how best to test this now without a whole ton of stuff having to be changed. Okay, first things first. I'm going to persist the current state as in form of a commit, but without these changes that we did, because obviously they should not land in the final version. Where was the other one? It was on the plugin API, right? So, right, this one. And then also on the, no, yeah, there. Okay. So, moved from, oh wait, there's still old stuff in the, because we don't need this one. Right, wait, is this the correct? Yeah. We remove this. And we move that. I think that was it, no? Yep. Okay. So we changed this. Right, we added that. That is correct. We moved this over and changed it slightly. That's also correct. Oops. And we added this as a wizard plugin, added the wizard itself, changed the way we do our permission checks, added some wizard methods for that thing. Boom, 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 boom. Did our restart command check thingy. Actually, let us quickly use this down here. Slightly rephrase it. We don't need to format that. We also do not have a stack trace, so we can remove that. So okay. That should work. So we also have taken care of this. And then the core wizard removed this and removed that. We removed the sub. No, we renamed some stuff here. We added this exception to the limitations and also there. And we changed the order of things in here. So that looks actually good. So we're going to oh, great. So this is the backup plugin. First run wizard. Bypasses permissions in first run mode. Allows to restore existing backup. And that is what number? 3496. And this is a custom branch, so I'm not actually going to push this on the regular one right now, but what I'm doing instead is I'm going to push this to GitHub like it is into the new branch. And then I'm going to get myself one of the pies running here. Oh dear. I really need to call it a day soon. My back is starting to give me trouble. I think that one should be running and hopefully not broken. Let me check. That looks okay-ish. Yeah. Yeah, that's an 014. Oh, okay. So we are quickly going. Oh, that was that one, right? Okay. So how was it done again? Right. So we are quickly going to create a checkout on one of my pies that are still running 140 from the update tests, more or less fresh. And okay. So we're going to install it. Actually, that was the wrong order, I just realized, but it should not be that big of an issue. We're going to check out improve first run restore. And we're going to install that again because I'm not entirely sure right now. Right. Oh, look at that, that worked. Great. Yeah, that was what I was talking about on the last OctoPrint on Air episode, that I had extracted the firmware check mechanism thingy that tells you if your printer doesn't have thermal runaway protection and all that into its own module that is now hosted on PyPI, and that gets pulled in by current maintenance builds of OctoPrint, and that actually just worked because it pulled it in from PyPI. That's so nice to see working on a target system. Okay, so we're going to reload this. Oh, nice! Look at that, I broke it. Oh, right, I forgot to restart. No. And we're waiting for the server to come back up again. That actually looks promising. Come on, load, please. Thank you. Loading OctoPrint UI. Hooray, there it is. Ignore. Not now. And then we're going to create a quick backup, which is ridiculously small. Going to save it. And then we are going to stop this server again. And instead are going to run it manually. But point it at also at something called fresh config, because why not? And also in debug mode. And that should hopefully allow us to quickly test this on a fresh config. Okay. That, is it done caching? Wait, why is it even caching? Ah, well, okay. Loading OctoPrint UI, and there we have it. And then we are going to restore our backup that we did just now, and which should be, I think, oh dear, that one, right? Oh, right, UTC, huh? Versus, I don't know. Okay, open. Upload and restore. Are you sure? Yes, I am. Uploading. This can take a bit. Restarting, removing, doing things. Let's see what is going to happen now. It should actually restart. Oh, Shoot, it cannot because I started it from, so we are going to do that instead. And we are going to repeat the test differently. What I'm simply going to do here is not really that great, but I'm simply going to remove the OctoPrint fold. No, I cannot. How can I easily test this with a fresh? Oh wait, how could it even? Oh right, we can test the restore thing if that works, if we have it running that way. Yeah, so I'm going to move the OctoPrint folder after all. So now it's fresh. Even if I do this again, it's completely fresh. Like never been configured before, never been started before. It doesn't even come with the Octopi default stuff. And because I'm curious and want to see what is happening, I'm going to do that again. And it's also been ages since I last drank something, right? Okay. Yeah, so that started with a really fresh config. Ay. Lower back. Yay. Same procedure as earlier. That one. Upload and restore. Proceed. Restarting. Look at that. That's actually looking good, isn't it? The question is what happens next. So, goodbye, event loop shutdown. So far, so good. It should actually come back up now. Oh, wait, I'm tailing the OctoPrint log that I just replaced. I'm good. Look, there it is. Okay. Please reload. We are reloading. And we are asked to log in with our old data, which, oh dear, I think it was just test and test that I set this up with. Log in. And it's connecting again. And bam! Look at that. It's working. Isn't that nice? So, so that was the first throw at that. And the thing that I said was my goal for today, which is like this working is working. And yay, isn't this nice? So considering that my back is starting to give out now, I think I'm actually calling it a day for now. And we'll continue on this tomorrow. Not necessarily in form of a live stream, but you will see the commit show up sooner rather than later in the maintenance branch. So the things that we still need to figure out how to solve are actually... So what do we have? I mean, we solved the issue with the socket, right? The socket connection thingy via that one. And we still have a bit of code duplication going on here. So this is something that I really want to take a look at if I can avoid that, because it's nasty. If I can just inject it the ID that it is supposed to use, then everything would already be fine here. And what else do we have? I think we got rid nicely of this duplication, so this is not too bad anymore. So this is the same thing again. We removed all the stuff from here again. Core wizards are clean. Sub-wizards are clean. Users we did not actually have to touch. Going to close that. So this is the backup thingy. So the things that are still a bit of an issue here is we need a way to solve the situation where the user restored from a backup. The backup did not have a restore command configured. We are running on a headless system, so we have no way to restart the thing unless we SSH in. But I think in this case, it's something that could be expected, maybe. Jim is suggesting to data bind the ID attribute with knockout. So the thing here where I was talking about to, oh wait, where was it? Right. To have this here dynamically change. The problem is if I cannot use a knockout here because the view model that I'm trying to bind to this thing already requires the ID. So this is a bit of an hen-egg problem because we are, where are we? Right, we are attaching stuff here. What I should, you know what? I'm really curious now how this works. And I'm fairly sure that there was some kind of way to provide template variables to look at it. That looks actually really promising. But it's still open. That's not good. Ginger 2.9 Plus. What version do we have? Because I remember there was an issue with the later Ginger version to which we still cannot update due to backwards compatibility issues, potential backwards compatibility issues with third-party plugins. And of course, as luck would have it, we cannot use Ginger 2.9 because it has breaking changes with regards to template scope. We can't guarantee backwards compatibility for plugins and such with that version, hence we need to pin to a lower version for now. See, and this is the ticket. Okay, so this does not work for us. Can we... Why can't we use the with argument here? The value set using with is not accessible. Okay, great. Can we use a template variable here? No, we cannot use a template variable here. This sucks. I really would like to be able to reuse all of that, but from the looks of it, I can't. Not without upgrading Ginger, but I cannot upgrade Ginger because, you know, yeah. As Jim just said it in the chat, damn plugins. Or rather, damn and backwards compatibility. That always makes things tricky. And yeah. I mean, I could create a custom binding, but this is like, I don't know if you're familiar with the phrase yuck shaving, but this is getting in really, really dangerously close to yuck shaving. To just create a fancy new Ginger directive or extension or whatever in order to be able to include a template with parameters, just to avoid a duplication of 19 lines of code. I mean, it's 19 lines of code, but it's also 19 lines of code that I haven't touched since August 2018 when I wrote that. So Sean suggests might be hacky, but could the ID be templated? Like in what way? I think I'm not getting your idea. And also we have a bit of lack in the in the whole communication, so I'm going to have to wait a bit now for the response, I feel. I'm simply going to take a quick look at the other screen in the meanwhile, see if anything important came in. Oh, nice. That's good. My next DVD box, or rather Blu-ray box of Asterix movies was shipped. Shipped is the word I was looking for. Yeah. Yeah, but this is really... And this is, of course, the modern documentation, so... for current versions, and we do not have. Oh, damn! They are already at 2.11, and I'm still stuck on 2.8. Ugh. Okay. Is there anything in there that might help us? Yeah. No. Hmm. Sean says says oh yeah says something like I'm simply going to throw that in here like this. So a template variable. A problem is that can I set a template variable via a with statement? Let me check that. That's actually template. Oh, wait, so ginger2 template variable with. Include context. This is actually looking promising. When you include a template, it gains access to its contents. If you pass person to my page, you'll be able to access it from your imported template like this. I mean, maybe. Let us try that quickly. So we are going to. No, we are going to do this. We are going to do this the faster way. Make dir-p. Source, OctoPrint. Where do we want to go? Plugins. Backup. No. Templates. Snippet. Snippets or snippet? Snippet. Snippets. Snippets. Plugin. Backup. So. And there it is. So much nicer. Okay. Yeah. So again, we are going to take this, going to throw it in there. And now what we are going to do is really nasty, and I have no idea if I'm going to get, I don't know, laughed at for this, but so we are going to give this a name, plugin backup, upload form ID. If I'm not entirely mistaken, this should be right. Canlevlong says include parent HTML with response equals blah. Yeah, this is 2.9 syntax, I think. So this is not something that I can use with the old version that I have to use here. So and then we are going to do this. We are going to use this here. Not in the wizard, but actually in the settings, because then we can just quickly... Oh no, in the wizard. We haven't run through the wizard, have we? I don't think so. Have we? What does happen when I reload here? Oh great, it's in a broken state now. I have to figure out why. No such file or directory. Is this the problem here? Side packages, exchanger2, blah 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 blah. Yeah, something is really wrong here. What? Yeah, we are quickly going to nuke the fresh config thingy and bam. Oh, we have to stop the server for that, because otherwise I cannot delete it because the logs are open. Yay. Oh damn, I'm really hungry. Right. It's nuked. We're going to restart it. And then we are going to change this thing here to, so we're going to set this variable to a value of wizard backup upload. And then we're going to include the template, snippets, plugin, backup, plugin, upload form dot ginger2. If you're hearing a real rumbling in the background, that's my stomach, so I really need to cut it short soon. And this is usually, it doesn't know where the lookup path is, and so it thinks this template doesn't exist, but it exists, so just ignore this. So it's already running again. We adjusted the template, and hopefully it will now load. And it does load, and it doesn't, it does actually contain something. And now inspect element. This is not promising. It should actually have an ID. No, wait, where is my input? I'm blind. Ah, there it is. Oh, look at that, it's working. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, but here, and with a different value. Going to use this one. I mean, this is really ugly, and I'm not proud of this, but if it works, of course, a with statement would be nicer, but we cannot use that here. So we're going to do that. And because I want to check that it actually gets adjusted in the settings, but I don't want to run through the whole wizard now for that, I'm simply going to switch my server configuration again over to the other one. Yay. Okay. And now we're waiting again for it to start. Toodaloo. Toodaloo. Again, these connection request errors here are because this instance is still configured to go against a server that is currently down for the announcement plugin. So this is to be expected. Not sexy, but to be expected. Okay, we're reloading that, and then we're checking in the settings whether the backup stuff also has the right ID, which I hope it will, but I'm not entirely sure. Backup and restore. Existing, create. Oh, right, we are on Windows, which is, oh, you know what? I should still be able to. Yeah, damn. Yep. Oh, we're going to look at that. It's easier to find it from there. Restore is not supported, but is the ID set? That is the important question here. Control group is the first one, I think, and then it's inside that, and then inside that, and here, and yeah, that works. Okay, perfect. So we can just use that and commit it and be done. So, perfect. We got rid of these 19 lines of code repetition. And this is actually a case of refactoring. Go. And we can also commit this, push this. And I think for now, this should actually be mergeable, no? I mean, we got rid of the code repetition. The stuff is actually working. Good reuse overall. We still have to maybe do some translations. It's not marked as mandatory, but it's okay because we do not necessarily want to have it as mandatory, and we can still think a bit about the wording maybe here and there. But for now, I think this is something that we can actually consider done. So I'm going to check out maintenance. And then I'm going to merge this. Backup, no, not backup, restore log. First run restore, there. Merge into current. Then we can push this. Wait, why was this 5 commits? I did not look closely enough, I think. What did I push? What did I not push so far? That is a question. Restore from back. Oh, right, of course. There was the merge commit. There was, yeah. And I changed something in the README. That's also right. Okay, that's fine. That looks okay. Yeah, fine. Perfect. Okay. So then we can delete that thing again. Delete. And it will also ask if we want to delete the track branch, and we also want to delete the tracked branch. And if we now check on GitHub, OctoPrint, because I moved the repository, it's no longer under fusel/OctoPrint, it's now under OctoPrint/OctoPrint. We see maintenance 1 minute ago. And there it is. Perfect. Perfect. Nice. So this is done. And I'm going to mark the corresponding ticket as such. Should actually have received right. Okay. Milestone is set to 141 now, and the label gets set. Oh, right, I'm not even seeing that. Oh, wait, just trust me. I just marked the ticket so that I will find it when it's time to prepare the changelog for 141. And yeah, hooray. Okay. Then I think I'm going to wrap this up here because, yeah, as I said, my stomach is grumbling really loud. And before you start to actually hear that, if you haven't heard it already, in which case I'm really sorry, I'm going to, call it a day, get myself something to eat and a good rest on the couch. And then I'll look into, I actually can switch you back to me now. There, yeah. And then I actually can see what I'll tackle next. So the idea is, as long as this whole pandemic situation is going on, I was thinking I would maybe do this regularly, semi-regularly. I do not, and I cannot commit to a specific timetable yet, but I suggest you just subscribe to the YouTube channel, and whenever you see that I'm going live soon or something, then you know what to do. Just tune in. And I'm definitely not going to do that, at least not with a really short interval after this whole pandemic is over, because frankly, it's also, I mean, it's really late now, and yeah, right. But I figured that right now, as we are all stuck at home anyhow, and such, why not, allow you to look over my shoulder and maybe share a bit on a level that I usually cannot share. So that's the idea behind all that. And so stay tuned. I will post the next appointment again on Patreon publicly, so everyone can see that, and also on Twitter. And you can probably also hear the church around the corner now that is telling all of us to stop working. No, it's not that bad, but yeah, it can be quite loud. So keep your eyes peeled, subscribe, And maybe consider also, if you're watching this and are not already doing that, maybe supporting me in some way or the other thing, because I'm doing this full time. I'm working full time on OctoPrint, and it's fully funded by the community. So if you like what I'm doing and are maybe now even more liking it, then yeah, take a look at support.octoprint.org, where you can find some ways to support me and my work. One of which is Patreon, one-time donations, merchandise that you can buy, and all that. So, and this is my advertisement plug, and I'm done with it. Yeah, so I guess all that's left to say is I hope you had fun, and based on what I'm reading from the live chat, you actually did have fun and it was entertaining, so that's nice. Nice to know, because I was really a bit worried about this. I wasn't sure if it was a good format and if it was really interesting to watch, but hey, apparently it was, at least for some of you. And yeah, so I there will be another time, a next time, definitely. And until then, all that's left to say is stay safe, wash your hands, and happy printing. Bye.